Hey, how are you guys? In case you didn't notice, this is a longer than usual video. And as you listen, you will notice the format's a little different. I will be putting semi-accurate timestamps in this video just so that you can, if you feel it's necessary, skip to the parts that you would much rather hear. Today, we have four panelists, myself, Kal-El, and then two friends of ours. Kal-El's known them quite a bit longer than I have, as that'll be described in the video itself. But they are people who I won't introduce in this introduction, funny enough, but they have expertise in the mediums that we're going to be talking about today. One of them is a professional wrestler, has been so for at least a decade, I believe, more than a decade actually. One of them is a film producer and is currently making a game and a comic book. These are people who are, for all intents and purposes, a part of the industry. And the filmmaker, by the way, has actually published a film. Now, I'll let them introduce themselves as the video goes along. But the main reason that I'm injecting, or rather that we're injecting, hip hop and music and movies and film and even pro wrestling into this conversation that is usually, I know a lot of you guys are used to it being video game centric. And again, I will post timestamps to where the true video game portion of the discussion starts. The main reason we're posting that is because of a word that will pop up in this conversation. Things, or rather a term, rather, I should say, it's things are cyclical. And by that, we mean that what affects one can and eventually will affect the other, because it's all media, it's all entertainment, it's all a part of the same cycle of these are things we are selling to people, right? You have to understand that. Now, for you gamers, there is a conversation that I want to talk about in more depth, and I will be making that video actually very shortly, going into the Bethesda Studios closures that Microsoft has done since the beginning of the week, which I believe was the 6th of May 2024. A lot of knee-jerk emotional commentary surrounding this stuff over the last week. And the problem with that is a lot of those reactions are a grift, right? Like, I don't want to be the callous and cold-hearted one. You guys know me well enough to know that I hate seeing people lose their jobs, and I hate seeing people dream projects get canceled or flushed away because of a corporate, basically corporate meddling. But what you have to understand about those four studios, when you get to the reality of it, and again, I will go more in depth on this on another video, they had not produced any money. Like, up until Hi-Fi Rush, there was no huge talk about anything that Tango Gameworks made. Yeah, people liked Evil Within 1 and 2, but they barely sold, right? People, to an extent, like Tokyo Ghostwire. Game barely sold. Even with the PlayStation and PC release on top of the Xbox release, it barely sold. These games weren't selling. And as a matter of fact, I'll go into more detail as how I believe Machine Games and Arcane Lyon, which is the branch of Arcane that wasn't closed because Arcane Austin, the ones who made Redfall, was closed. And some of the big people were kept, and I believe the studio as a whole was closed. I believe they were given Blade and Indiana Jones respectfully so that they could make a game with a large following for the IP that would get them some sales. They were mercifully given those games because none of these companies were making games that were selling. They weren't. I don't care how much you like Prey, it didn't sell. Okay? Obviously, we don't even have to talk about how bad Redfall did. None of these games made money. So when it came down to a chopping block, unfortunately, yes, those were the ones that had to go. And I can't even speak on Roadhouse. I think that Mighty Doom game didn't do too well as a mobile game, and I don't even think the other team had published anything yet, which is why. And I think one of them was absorbed. Like it's a whole mess. Again, I'll elaborate more on that in a separate video. But the main reason I wanted these four people, including myself, on this is because we tend to be more logical in our approach to explaining things that we understand. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and I hope you get something out of it. I understand that a lot of you guys have subscriptions, are fans to people who may have a larger fan base, but you have to understand that a lot of these people, either purposely or by no fault of their own other than their emotions, are grifters and they're tastemakers, and they're trying to persuade you to feel a way that honestly you shouldn't feel, because most of this information really isn't any of your business. And it may sound callous, but it's the truth. Most of the information that you're getting from Twitter and all these other spaces about these game companies is really not any of your business. As a consumer, you enjoy the product regardless of whether other people like it or not, and that should be it. You know? But you're getting this news and this information from people, and it's overly emotional, and it's a grift. It is. Again, I'll explain about all of that in another video. In the meantime, enjoy this one, and we'll see you soon with that video and even more content. Have a blessed one.
Chris, be nice to Judah.
Welcome back to the CGC Podcast. With me always is
Kal-El313.
And I am Chris P. Thomas.
And I am
F
Motion
this guy's
Humphrey.
name.
What? Wait.
My hip hop drops on your head like. Now you know I was going to. Okay,
obviously, you guys are hearing.
I'm a long lost member of the crew. Most.
You guys are hearing two extra voices. We have a special guest today, both with expertise in expanded fields that I certainly don't know anything about, and I'm not sure if Mo is fully versed in them as well. I already doxed you last week, dude. It's too late. So Mosey and Chris, you guys want to explain what you do now, or you want to wait till those topics come up that will kind of apply to your fields? You want to keep the veil closed for the moment, or
want to talk about it? You don't have to say anything. There are 4 lights if you don't want to say anything.
What?
If you don't want to say anything, you can say there are 4 lights. Then we'll.
But.
I don't want to wind up and incriminate ourselves.
I didn't know we were playing the next generation game.
I didn't know
that's where we were going with that.
All right.
So are you our Kardashian overlord right now? What's going on?
I got nothing to do with Kardashians, man.
No, not Kardashian.
Bars.
Kardashian.
Nah, he
doing
bars.
I really didn't. At any rate, I guess we'll wait to introduce them fully when we get to the points of the conversation. Yeah, there it is.
Will is definitely more than the Klingons anyway. Because remember the Klingon girls, like, worse? That's why, like, they was banging, son. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had the Rihanna foreheads.
Not at all.
They was about it.
At any rate, let's line it back up. Kal-El as per usual. But we got a lot to talk about in multiple fields of pop culture and entertainment, but we're going to start it off with perhaps the most let's say relevant thing that happened over the last weekend, which is the big hip hop rap battle, whatever you want to call it, between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and Kal-El is going to start us off with his analysis of how this thing went in the history.
Before we start, I just want to ask the crew a question, a couple of them.
Shoot
so
it.
First, K. Dot whitelisted his music so that the reactors can profit from it. So how do you guys feel about him tipping his army of tastemakers right in front of all of us? How do you feel about that?
I think he read Sun Tzu's The Art of War.
I'll be 100.
It was such a nice thing to do.
Yeah, it's nice, right? So here's the thing. For me, that is
envelope, baby.
Because Drake's not going to do that because he's backed by the machine. The machine ain't giving away free money.
Oh, they all have to do it now.
He ain't did it yet. Kendrick done it already. So
they just weaponized the tastemakers all at once.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like that you just mobilize your army. You give it's one thing to make ammunition. It's another thing to distribute it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So in that same lane, how do you feel about Metro Boomin saying if you make a diss against my enemy,
weaponize
I'm gonna give you a real beat in 10K.
He won the war.
Wait, hold on. And making this a 20v1 go to a million v1.
A million v1.
Listen, I'll be honest. I think it's excellent. I love it. I mean,
look, the whole point of that was, in essence, hip hop became a no-fly zone, and the proof of it was when Metro unleashed that beat and then told everybody to rap over it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back to the no-fly zone later. I have some more questions about that, but that's one.
You don't insult producers, man. It's not a good idea.
Question. Here's another question. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I'm just saying, like the day I found out that K-Dot that he whitelisted it and said, you know what, this is free for everybody. I was just like, man, I said it in our chat. I was like, that he took this, it wasn't just weaponizing it, right? He made this a self-sustaining nuclear reaction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this, to the point where it's one thing where it was already being played in the clubs that night. You know what I mean? It was being played. They got their hands on it and people were jamming that in the clubs that night. But then you're talking about it was whitelist now. All influencers can use it or whatever. And then after what you showed me about the basketball game, I'm like, we're done. We're done. We're done. Like,
that,
come on.
You talking about that
primetime TV? Like, come on.
You talking about that T-Wolves?
They're playing the song. Like,
they played that song and they played the NWO Wolfpack song
that
night. That was very interesting playoff game. They were really on one that night.
Well, I mean, come on, it's fair for you can't be mad at the Timberwolves playing.
No, you can't. You know,
no
Wolfpack. At least that sounds like something.
I didn't expect it though. That one was left field.
And because
that sounds like something, but what does not like us?
Oh, they just not like us because them trolling.
No, they're connected ideas. They're connected ideas. So we'll come back to that though. You guys are like in my brain right now. Okay, so let me ask you something. We've been seeing a lot of celebrities, Stephen A. Smith, everybody and their mama coming out and saying, the languages you're saying are so terrible, you guys got to stop. This is making people look bad. But a lot of people yelling this stuff didn't have a problem when our entire evangelical right was cool with their president using the same language against his enemies.
Oh, absolutely. I get that. But again, you know good and well that simply goes back to the fact that it's identity politics and how you present yourself as an African American, right? You got to be respectable, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not respectable, even though you are within the culture and you're doing the thing that the culture has always done, now it's like, right? It's respectability politics.
You know the funny thing about this is, right? I don't think anybody would have anything to say like that if this wasn't as big as it was. Like the fact that this has made it into mainstream ABC news reporting and it's in front of these masses like this, you know what I mean? Now all of a sudden, these black commentators want to be like, you're making black people look bad. But you weren't saying that when other black people were just talking. Nobody. What were they saying when Candace Owens was saying stuff about black people? What were you saying about and listen, I love Cat Williams, totally in agreement, love that whole thing, but you wasn't on there talking about, nah man, Cat, calm down. Nobody said any of that.
Only Dave Chappelle called Cat Williams out there. Actually, you're absolutely right. Everybody else was okay with it.
Everybody else was good to go. But
and not only that. No, go ahead, Chris. You want to finish your thought?
But because this is number one, this kind of rap beef, Marisa said it before, it hasn't been like this in a minute.
But I don't think listen, this is different because it started off like rap beef. It turned into something extremely
detrimental to
not
people's
real
characters.
World violence, but it was violent. The words that they were using, like those weren't like rap battle barbs. They were trying to bury each other's career at that point.
No, they were rap battle bars.
No. They went past that. They went past rap battle.
So I would say this about.
Wait. I'm styling on you. When he actually tried to go for the Trey Pound.
I think that
Daylight has exposed himself in battle rap. Battle rap is ridiculous.
Yeah, quite literally.
It's mostly gun bars, murder bars, each a baby bar.
I'm not saying that though. But
I do want to say this, guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I want to say this. Stephen A. Smith, amongst anybody, has no reason. His job is quite literally. I find it funny that he's talking about making people look bad when his job is quite literally to be the loudest tastemaker in the room, and decide how people feel about people, right? And particularly in sports, like Kwame Brown notoriously has said, "Why were you at these high schools talking about me and making me look bad for all these kids?" Now, mind you, there are plenty of people that sit here and say, "Well, Kwame Brown didn't do himself any favors in his career and how he performed," but Stephen A. Smith has a history. And even recent one of like going around and he got this opinion about this guy or this girl or how she plays. And, he's trying to make it gospel. And he yells and pulls a big word out of his ass every once in a while. And that's
actually
true.
What I don't like about him. That's the thing that I do not like is that
he can't say that.
It is a lot of look at me. And from some of the things that I've listened to, it's really all in service of being a TV personality.
Exactly. Your character.
It is how can I get, it's actually the whole thing that sports media has turned into is how do I get people, but sports media especially, because it's how can we get people to watch this show? And now every sports show is a hot take. It's either about betting or it's a hot take. That's all. That's all you get in sports
they watch Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson. They know the formula. Like it's
right. But that's what I'm saying. And so Stephen A. Smith, I look at him less as an authority on most things, including in the world that he works in, which is sports journalism. Because he understands this is how I get paid.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at him for understanding that, but I'm mad at what you're saying, at people accepting what he says as gospel. Like you said, as gospel.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm upset about.
Does he invite people who have the opposing point of view?
Yeah, he does. A couple of them.
But it turns into like Yell Fest.
Yep.
Oh, that's why.
He's fired a couple of co-hosts because of that too. Max Kellerman
talked about
Max Kellerman would out argue him, and he didn't like that. And I don't think him and Skip Bayless lasted too long because of that.
They lasted quite a bit.
They lasted quite a while, but they split.
Yeah.
That might have been a money thing because they
But
both kind of went and did
the
the same
Max
thing.
Kellerman one was the one of note where
Absolutely.
yeah.
He doesn't have like a writing team that helps him prep his arguments, that kind of stuff. He's just doing that
Well,
solo.
of course they do. They come
sure.
in, they talk, they have meetings, they talk about what takes they're gonna have, so that like even so you might have the same take as someone else on one of those shows, but what happens is in the meeting, because it's still TV production.
Yeah.
So in the meeting, you talk about it. Who gets to have what take?
Yep. Pro-con, who's this debate team, but so they're faking a debate, but then he gets mad because the fake debate, whatever. Your spot was too good.
It's very similar to what, Mosey?
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
Very similar. It's very similar to something that you know a little bit about,
never
right?
Get mad at anybody as a professional wrestler for having a spot that's better than mine, because
not talking about you, but I'm just saying this. You know.
Okay, listen. We know the world is full of haters.
Yeah.
We know the world is full of people who get jealous and envious, and yes, the professional wrestling world is no different.
Tell them how good the Canadian Destroyer is. You tell them.
That's your move. You love the Canadian Destroyer. Petey Williams is a cool dude, but you love the Canadian Destroyer.
Take this bump only once.
Cal, you had a breakdown about the whole Kendrick Drake beef.
Yeah. So you guys have been hitting it on the nail on the head. So we all know this is just brand warfare in its highest format, right? Like this is Genesis does with Nintendo.
Yep.
And the language that the Chans have always used to diss each other is now the modern language of dissing. That's why people can dance to jokes about pedophilia, right? Or stories about it. It's because that internet troll Chan. So like there's that documentary on Netflix all about the what's the name of it? Did you see it? The something network, and it's about like how 4chan came to being. You know what I'm talking about?
Seen that.
Antisocial network. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes from 2chan to 4chan to anonymous, and it's how
QAnon comes from all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's those cultural realignments of our language, even on the internet, even with our disrespect to each other. South Park's part of that, right? So that's the reason why that's the reason why the former president was able to win. It was South Park as humor. The trolls voted for him.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Society as a whole is falling down a really, really deep rabbit hole.
Well, I mean,
it always has been. It's just there's only one thing that matters in popular culture. Shout out to 19 Keys, and that's attention. So as long as you can keep attention, that's why it's like one side's idea right now is to make something. The last song. It's very rare for Drake to hit his artistic intent. The last song, I could tell that he didn't want to do it anymore. I could tell he was saying some most horrible stuff he could. He was victim blaming. He was doing everything he could to make you not want to hear it anymore. And I was like, that's brilliant. Like it was full of plot holes and everything. I was like, if somebody really didn't want to do this anymore, they're like, man, here's a song. It's gonna be ultra trash, horrible. No one's gonna like me afterwards. Police, they'll leave me the hell alone. Like that's what it felt like to me. But I think that's a good way for a label owner who's going to battle with another label owner under the same company.
Just walk away from it
in their little corporate their weird corporate battle.
Mm-hmm. But you also say you feel like he's not done, right?
I mean, I don't. So as long as Sega was making consoles, they weren't done taking shots at Nintendo.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have Pepsi and Coke and RC, right? But you
can't have RC. Stop it.
You got Fago.
You got Fago. All right.
But you got it. But here's the worst part: with all these Machiavelli moves they're all doing, here's the true idea. I think people are saying Kendrick's this genius and Jake's done this and it's this teams, right? They got teams and everything, right? But they're saying, Kendrick's team's super smart and they're doing all this. That is true. But what they're missing is he's not the final boss. So let's go back to the beginning of this whole rap beat. The week that started, a friendly young man who's always been considered a high-performing artist, but always had a smile on his face, did an amazing freestyle and a tiny desk. And before that, he just had this amazing run where he's coming on everybody's stage and showing how he's friendly. And he's wearing a Dilla hat. This same guy who created the Control album and actually had a better verse than the one by K. Dot himself, and slighted K. Dot in the verse because he says, I'm not known for name drop, just Hall of Fame drop. And K. Dot followed it by naming 50 names, including Elvis Presley. This man and his secret agent, Jermaine Cole, have set these things in motion to clear the plate. Because let us not forget, Big Sean didn't just want West Coast MC smoke. He didn't just want Canadian MC smoke. He didn't just want Atlanta and New York MC smoke. What did the Big Four ask for? Detroit versus everybody. No one else responded. The Big Four spoke. No one even shot at Danny Brown. They didn't say, hey, you sound like Rick James. Nothing. It was quiet. They saw Marshall on there, and they were like, I might jump in. They saw Trick on the hook, and they said, nah. They saw that video of Rick Ross not getting out of his car. That's a real thing. No fly zone.
Like you said, no fly zone.
No fly zone.
No fly zone.
Yeah, Sean set this all up. He gonna come out looking the sweetest. Him and Janae Aiko.
He actually just released a new single too.
Yeah, he's
I don't know. I don't know about your Machiavellian subplot, but you know, yeah, he did just release a single. Yes.
He said, "Let's all battle." Everybody said, "No."
You see the best out there, TV?
No. No, I think not.
You had a music theory piece you want to go over, Cal?
Oh no, we're good. That was a joke.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not even mad about that idea, that concept, because the truth is, don't nobody want to mess with Detroit.
No, they don't.
On anything. It never matters. Like,
rhymes.
It doesn't matter. Listen, I have been everywhere in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the words, I'm from Detroit, comes out, everybody's like, oh, it's scary there. Like, I heard so much.
Ridiculous.
Like, and then, but the thing is, when you carry that, first of all, people aren't even thinking about the culture that comes from Detroit, right?
Yeah.
They're just thinking about the violent side, right? But the best part about that is you get to strap that on as a survivor of the city, so they know not to mess with you because you came from Detroit. You survived Detroit.
Well, it's true. It's funny, but it's very true, right? So a lot of times the perception of fear is greater than fear itself.
Right.
Like perception of you coming from Detroit, and all of a sudden you the hardest mother effer in the room.
Oh.
And but I'm actually a program manager, so you know I just
Plus,
you know what I mean.
I listen. I'm somebody who listen. Check me if you wanna. Check me if you want.
Right.
Like, I'm the nicest guy. I try to be the nicest guy. I try not to. Even today at work, I'm trying not. I use language to try and disarm most situations.
You have to.
But set me off.
Right.
It's like that video. It's like that short we heard before, right? Where it was like some little kid talking about, "Yo, where Gen X at? Why we don't talk about them?" And
you don't want us.
Like, you know why?
Show up.
Gen X is the original F around and find out, because that's where we came from. Like, We listen.
No,
we didn't have all this. What we have now, we didn't have this growing up.
We didn't have all the.
We were the meeting at 3:00 in the parking lot crew.
Right.
Don't
didn't have
be
the
fooled by these
communities
people.
the way that they exist now.
Don't be fooled by these
digital
people.
cloud-based communities where you could just stay and do whatever you want.
Armchair warriors, like get out of here.
This is more propaganda, people.
I remember this
propaganda
on a regular
lies. Listen, people. This is all propaganda and lies. Here's the truth about Detroiters. Our ancestors were just smart enough to get as close as they can, and when they found out they weren't getting paid, and that's it. And we trying to use our intelligence to make y'all feel bad, like we tough. Nah, we just smart. That's it. Most people moved here to be engineers. Like,
listen.
They're like, we don't want to go.
I love how he likes being this agent of chaos that just wants to burn down everything.
That is.
But I'm not lying though. Am I lying though?
He's always been an agent of chaos, and you got to remember, I've known him since like 14, 13.
That wouldn't even mean
always been.
That's my twin brother.
Agent of chaos.
Right.
That's my twin brother.
Listen. It's so funny because the way you say that. So, for people that don't know, in terms of this whole group, I would say me and Mo have known each other. Man, Mo, it's like 30 years, dog. Right? So he's known mostly longer than that. But the funny thing about this whole thing is, like, we all know the stories of childhood and stuff. Mm-hmm. So everything these fools is talking about, ultra true. Ultra true. I heard the stories at the Castech lunchroom. And like, and then
why you gonna bring up my criminal past?
Not you, right? In every story, here's the similar underlying thread. Mo said. Listen, folks, I'm going to just set the record straight. My first encounter ever with my best friend and brother was, yo, you got to hear this. My man played me one of the greatest rap songs ever. We never look back.
So what do we got next? What's next?
Let's get Mosey going, because I want to hear how he feels about modern wrestling. In case you didn't realize, Mosey still is.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to a show this weekend. I'm not actually wrestling this weekend. I pulled back because I'm actually in the middle of working out, knocking off some ring rust, and trying to get my partner in decent shape.
Okay.
But I'm heading up to Tampa for a show this weekend, actually.
Awesome. So we were trying to get Mosey on here. Give me 1 second. I got you. We were trying to get Mosey on here a couple of weeks ago when AEW decided to, I guess some people would say, jump the shark and show an actual fight backstage between one CM Punk and then known as Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I don't think he's Jungle Boy anymore. Now he's what is he called?
He's Jack Perry.
The scapegoat. He's the scapegoat.
Scapegoat Jack Perry.
Yeah.
Which is great because now he's
he's punching his boss in the chest, and he's more Brian Pillman than Lexus King is. So,
don't do Junior like that.
No, knock on him, but
I like
Lexus
Junior.
King is kind of like a whole different thing from what Brian the Jack Perry's super unhinged.
That's the thing. Real quick, Brian Pillman Jr. is such a laid back cat. Like,
yeah, I could tell.
I don't think he could pull out the stuff that his father did because he's got just a completely different personality.
Right.
So
I want to ask you, man, how did you feel about that whole exchange? Yeah, like
personally, from a personal standpoint,
right?
I always felt like because I've been in the world of professional wrestling for over 20 years. Um, a lot of my feed and a lot of the people that I communicate with are wrestlers, and everybody had an opinion. And I thought that was hilarious because it's like, you don't know what happened. And then the video, of course, comes out a couple of weeks ago, and um, it was pretty much exactly what was reported. Like,
Right.
I just thought I thought it was all stupid. Like 100%, both sides. It was just stupid, and it was an unnecessary fight. And part of me feels like CM Punk just wanted out.
I lost that bet because of the manager story you told me. I would assume. That's wonderful.
I think he just wanted out of his contract.
Yeah, of course. $10 million to not do nothing. Yeah, I got locked in the bathroom. Okay.
Okay. It's strange you say that because I don't doubt what you're saying is probably true, but they had given him his own show at that point because I know he had the previous fight
Collision, right? Because they made
fight with the Bucks, and everything, so they kept him off the same show.
That's just that level of self-destructive behavior. That's somebody trying to get out of their contract. That's how I read that. I could be wrong. I admit this. I don't know what the fuck Phil was thinking, but I do know that if you saw that in the real world, you saw that behavior anywhere else,
this motherfucker's trying to go to jail and get fired.
Right.
Yeah. Like, okay, so
out of charges.
My thing was this, and I was telling Kelly, I was like, it's crazy to me that an older guy purposely lets himself get antagonized by essentially a young punk, a young boy, in a company where it's like, dude, you already got a clock. Okay, he wants to use real glass. Like,
man, AJ
you don't have to start a fight with him. Just talk to him.
Listen,
AJ got nothing to do with anger management.
Here's the thing. He is one of the smartest guys.
Oh yeah, I get wrestling.
That. And he is one, and so like, if you understand the way, like, if you look at his storytelling, he's actually one of the smartest guys in wrestling. His callbacks, things like, so he's a thinker, right?
Right.
Which means to me, this just looks like he didn't like the environment. He didn't like some of what was going on, and he took advantage of some of the strife, of some of the discontent there. Like, it didn't make any sense for him otherwise to do that when he did it. Like, the show is at Wembley. It's one of the biggest wrestling shows ever.
Right.
He's matched up against one of his historic rivals in Samoa Joe. And he let Jack Perry take him out of his game because Jack Perry said real glass to a camera.
River.
Not to his face.
To a camera.
Not to his face, but to a camera. No one knew what he meant by that or who he was talking to until the fight actually happened. It was one of those things where it didn't have to be a fight. It could have been handled in a much more professional way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, you have wrestler's court for something like that, right?
That's a man that wanted to get out of his contract. That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
I got it. I got
it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go.
What are your feelings? What are your feelings on WWE and TKO Studios firing everyone that can be confused with a Mayan or Tongan to hire more Mayans? I mean Samoans. I'm sorry, Samoans or Tongans to hire more Samoans and Tongans. What are your thoughts on that? Coincidence?
Man, look, I don't know how they do business. I don't know how they do business.
Mustafa could have oosed.
Look, man. The blood, they can only hire so many people within the Samoan dynasty. So,
but why do they have to fire the people that like? How long do we have to enjoy Ricochet? Like, when is this?
man, oh no, Ricochet's
there, bro.
Ricochet. Listen, if I had to guess,
He's
Ricochet is solid because what Ricochet is he's basically Rey Mysterio. Mm-hmm. They still have Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio can't do the Rey Mysterio things anymore. No. You know who can? Ricochet.
Ricochet can do some of that stuff.
Hey, look, they got
some instances.
We know
really good.
We know that the audience for professional wrestling is trending older, and how do you make it trend younger? Superheroes. Who looks more like a superhero than Ricochet?
Thank you for admitting it. Lucha Libre had figured it out all the time. Like, that's what I'm telling people. Spider-Man told everybody, but no one listened. You already hear Mosi says Lucha is the best style of wrestling. Thank you.
Lucha is a style of wrestling.
No. Style of wrestling.
A style of wrestling.
I don't dislike Lucha. He thinks I'm a hater. I'm not a hater. I appreciate Lucha.
Where's your Ultimo Dragon tattoo?
Okay, don't even. First of all, I was the one that bought all the Ultimo Dragon masks for all of the groomsmen to wear, including you, sir.
Yes.
Did you?
I have photo evidence of this.
Yes.
I have photo
evidence. Lucha before?
I don't even know how to work Lucha. I don't. I cannot. It is a different style. It doesn't like. I can do Lucha things, but I can't work Lucha. I'm not even going to claim that.
It's easy, man. Just buddy up to the ref that has the suspenders on.
Well, I mean, the one that has suspenders on.
They're always the bad guys.
The Rudo. The Rudo ref. Yeah, I remember when I was in San Diego, and that was the first time I had access to like the Spanish channels. So I got to see Lucha Libre on TV on a regular basis. I was like, this is wild. I don't know if there are any actual rules here.
No.
It's just like, there's costumes. They're wrestling 3-on-3. There's 2 referees. There's 2 like dwarves in costumes matching one of the guys.
It's so
like
good.
I do love a lot of the things in Lucha Libre. I like the costumes. I like the concept of what the mask represents. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that they essentially have trans wrestlers. They've always had that. That's always been part of the culture. So like in a lot of ways, there are things, and that's why if you look at professional wrestling today, all of it is more or less a hybrid because, like I said, Lucha is a style. But at this point, we're just pulling from everything.
Oh, yeah.
And putting it all together, which is why every wrestler kind of looks like the same thing.
Yeah, MMA wrestling.
That is actually, you want my hot take? My hot take is that too many wrestlers are exactly the same thing. And I don't mean like they're copying Stone Cold or they're copying. I mean it in the hybrid sense. Everybody wants to pull from the same sources. The same pools.
Yeah, like how when the MMA show started, you had people with different total disciplines.
Actually, looked like the commentator from Bloodsport.
Yeah,
back then.
Right.
Now everybody's literally wearing the same tights and studying the same styles because
doing the same moves.
Everybody's playing the meta. Everybody's playing the
meta. and nothing. There are times when I feel like it's okay to say nothing is sacred. But nothing is sacred. Like people are just kicking out of everything now. What is that? What is that? Why are people kicking out? What'd you say?
Well, you have to kick out of everything so that Will Ospreay can slap you in the back of the neck.
Hey man, Baron Corbin's move is still safe. No one's kicked out of that one yet.
Yeah.
What move is it?
I want to say deep six, but that's like the spinning backdrop.
That's a black hole slam. You're telling me people have never kicked out of that?
No, the one where he takes him forward and slams him.
he's going to kick out of it just to spite you.
No one's kicked out of that one. They protected that move.
I promise you,
kick out his next show
somewhere in recorded history, not just on the indie show with no cameras or something. Somebody's kicked out of moves like that, and the WWE is better about protecting moves.
Right.
You're not gonna, but as you start to move down the food chain, you'll start to see, like, the Young Bucks killed the super kick. I'm not mad at them because I understand what they were doing, but they killed the super kick. Everybody kicks out of a super kick now. I mean, nobody's asking how HBK feels about that.
The Usos didn't help make that body either.
No, man, that was that. Listen, when they got criticized for doing moves too much on the indies, and they got wind of the dirt sheets and the old timers saying they didn't like it, they doubled down. That's why you have a super kick party. If you look at the PWG shows where everybody throws a super kick, that's all them. But it makes sense for them to do it, right? Because there was an actual shoot story in there, and they said, "Oh, you don't like that we do this? Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do it more." It's like even the South Park guys, right? Oh, you don't like that we have this in our show? That we swear this much in our show? All right, we're gonna put 3 more F-bombs in the show now.
So are you championing Drake's use of the N-word double down on Family Ties after on Family Matters after Kendrick said we don't want to hear it no more?
Listen, I feel like starting off with it, that was wrong.
Well, his mom started the conversation.
No, see, here's the thing. Drake did some Canadian lucha shit and started off with it, right? The way that lucha matches, you might start off with the finisher. I'm like, wait, what? Why are we working this show backwards?
That was his super kick party.
No, his super kick party was the fact that he just kept doing it in every line after
you just said South Park even did it even more. he follows suit.
I'm not saying he shouldn't have done it.
I'm saying it shouldn't have been the first thing.
Yeah.
At that point, I think he was just trying to be as defiant as he possibly could be.
As were the Young Bucks.
Yeah, pretty much. And also, okay, so let me ask you this. Unless Chris, do you have a question for Mosey?
I'm just here.
Keep doing his taxes.
Reading emails. I'm just existing today.
Because, listen. So we grew up watching wrestling together. Mosey's the only one of our crew that we can say, yeah, I know a professional wrestler. Right.
So, hey, I know a professional wrestler. I know most.
Exactly. I don't have the frame of references I have. Right. It's just really just from.
It's all honestly. It's all Maurice's fault.
Yeah.
It's all Kal-El's fault.
Oh, 100%.
He dared you to do it.
Professional wrestler.
100%.
I begged him to do it.
When we would go to his house and we watch the stuff, and I'd be like, man, this is fake. And he's like, yeah, well, whatever, you should do that. And I'm like, why would I want to do that? And then we look and you see the chair shot across the back, and I'm like, yeah, that's just force being dispersed, and that's just a fall that I know from judo, and that's, look, man, whatever. And then of course I'm not around. I run into a wrestling show. They have a wrestling school. I'm like, I can do that. But the thing is, I was gonna tell y'all immediately, but the first day, I was sold the first day, and I didn't tell anybody for a year.
That's funny.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
So let me ask you this, bro. Since Chris is just here, let me ask you this. How do you feel about Jim Cornette's his very fiery opinions of guys? He Jim Cornette does not hold back. He goes at guys, dude.
Yeah, because Jim Cornette is the Stephen A. Smith of professional wrestling. Yeah. He knows. He knows that controversy is gonna generate listens. He knows that the whole essence, like we already discussed, the whole essence is to get people to look at you, to get people to pay attention.
He has a podcast called the Cult of Cornet. So I guess
that is the essence.
To be fair, we can't just let Metzler just Dave Meltzer just
every match the Brooklyn Hall get a 5-star.
Dave Meltzer's
every Karuka Hall match gets a 5-star rating.
I appreciate the work he's doing.
Dave Meltzer, I don't know if you've looked up in the sky lately because there are no stars. Dave Meltzer is hoarding them all.
Oh yeah.
It's like no stars for you.
I appreciate the work. I appreciate the work when people can name Japanese female wrestlers and say those are their favorite matches. I appreciate it, man. Let's go.
Listen,
Dragon Gate for life.
Look, man. Joshi wrestlers are for real.
I was looking at. So I didn't know that Aja Kong was like.
She's Hafu.
Hafu.
Yeah, she was. I did not know that.
I didn't know that. Honestly, I didn't know that until 2 years ago.
Yeah, I found out 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Wait. And then I went back and I started looking at some of the videos and looking at some of the things that because in Japan they do like promo shoots like at the beach or doing like idol shoots and stuff.
Right.
And there was a shoot where she wasn't wearing her face paint and I was like and I'm just looking at her face and her hair and I'm like, how did I never notice this before? Holy crap!
And she's awesome. Like she's like a legend in Joshi.
She's amazing.
Her name is awesome.
One of the best monster characters ever.
I mean,
you can't call yourself awesome if you ain't awesome.
And then that made sense when Kia went to Japan and became Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, okay. Of course, it makes sense that a black woman would become her, her protege.
Yeah, it makes sense. Oh, so she came back from Japan as Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's cool. Maybe I've heard her tell that story before and I just don't remember it. Because I know she's done a couple of interviews.
No clue. I had no clue. I was ignorant of that.
It's very cool. I thought that was because I always saw Aja Khan. I was like, damn, she's a fucking beast. But she's, she was always like been killer. Her and the lady Bull Nakano Bull Nakano was like her, I believe, the lady that like kind of brought her in a little bit.
Just like, go ahead.
No, this is something else. Go ahead.
No.
Okay, this is going back to the CM Punk question. Okay, so CM Punk beat up this young man and get out of his contract.
That
was the last thing he did. Think about the things he did leading up to that.
Yes. So my question for you is, who do you think Mercedes Moné is going to beat up to get out of her?
Oh God. I do wonder if she has some kind of buyer's remorse on that thing right now.
So
she's gonna get Willow Nightingale and just hit her with a car. Like, what do you?
Man, look, here's like, I didn't know. My problem isn't with wrestlers being signed to AEW. My problem is what they do once they get wrestlers signed. Like sometimes a lot of the stories don't make sense.
Yeah.
Or they have too many moving parts or too many things are going on. It gets convoluted.
Do you think that their focus on keeping track of records and stuff, like focusing more on sport hurts the story stuff?
No.
So I like it personally.
I like it, and I'm not going to discuss my ideas that are related to that on here because I just don't want them out there. I don't want people stealing them. But
are one. You better get the right.
Like I thought that they might actually be the company that would put some of my ideas out there and they just didn't. And that was always a frustrating thing for me, is even though I wasn't as big of a wrestling fan as Kal-El was, one of the things that I remember about my childhood was one of my best friends that lived across the street, Corey. He was a huge wrestling fan, and he would get all the wrestling magazines. He would get the PWI and all. And I remember looking at the different promotions and the different, like the ranks of the different wrestlers. And then I remember when being a number one contender actually mattered. Like, it actually held weight when you were a number one contender for a title.
Yeah.
And now, what is it? Even in AEW, what is a number one contender? Like, people are just having, open. They're just like Edge is doing the what Adam Copeland is doing, the Cope Open. So there's no rank system there.
Yeah, he's doing one tonight, actually.
Even when Joe had the belt, it wasn't a true like ranking system. It was just once he beat you, you move to the back of the line.
Yeah.
But it wasn't paying attention to records or anything like that. And it's just disappointing that the records really don't show them on TV if they don't matter.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I always thought like maybe they're having a hard time balancing the idea of sport and the idea of fantasy, I guess you call it. Do you think they need to hire Hollywood writers?
Let me just say this right here. DK, if you're listening to this, I can fix that issue. I can fix it. I've had the answer for like 15 years. You got to come talk to me or let me talk to you. I can solve this problem. I can make records matter.
Let's go. What do you know about their amount of creative control they allow? Maybe do you feel like that might be a factor? Maybe the wrestlers themselves have too much creative control of their character.
Yeah, I wonder that. That's a good question.
I think that there should be. I think there should be a good balance.
Okay.
You can't trust everybody with creative control. You know.
Vince got down.
But listen, you can't trust I'm saying you can't trust every wrestler with creative control, because not every wrestler has the ability, the thought. Well, some of it is self-control, but some of it is knowing the audience. Yeah. Some of it is like knowing what's going to be marketable, right? Mm-hmm. So like, there are some things I've done on indie shows that I wouldn't do the same way if I was on one of the bigger shows that's televised weekly. But I would still try to get some of that same energy and some of those same concepts, but I wouldn't do it the same way. And some people don't understand. Like, I feel like people watch TV, people watch movies, people read books, but they don't understand how to create those things. Yeah. And a lot of wrestlers, one of my big issues with wrestlers is that they just borrow from, again, it's like the moveset. They just borrow from the same sources. Everybody wants to tell the same stories. And so I feel like in some places you are penalized for being creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in other places you're not, they're not being reined in enough. Yeah, right. Yeah. Sometimes it's not even that you got to hear the word no, but there needs to be somebody going, I see where you're going with that. How about we try this instead? Or somebody can say, all right, I'm not sure I get it. Help me understand what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah. No, Denzel's a great actor, but he's even better when he's working with a great director.
Right. Right. But you can trust. But the thing is, if you just let him loose, you can still trust him to produce something great. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you have, I mean, who's an actor that
I feel like Brad Pitt, you might have to rein in a little bit.
Brad Pitt, you might have to rein in a little bit. Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson is somebody who I think could be great
Joaquin
by
Phoenix.
himself, but he needs to be reined in.
Take it to the most obvious. Take it to the most
Phoenix?
No, take it to the most obvious. An amazing visual director, horrible writer.
Oh, Zack Snyder. Yeah.
Oh.
You can't let Zack Snyder loose alone behind the pen.
So David Goyer with him.
Let's go to Hollywood.
Wait! I gotta take. Wait! I gotta take this because you brought up Goyer.
David Goyer.
You brought up Goyer. Wait! I'm just putting this out there. A couple weeks ago, I watched on Prime. I watched a David Goyer film called Arcade. It was so bad. It was amazingly bad. It was like the worst collection of like 90s tech garbage ever. It is amazing because it's so bad. And I'm like, same guy that wrote Dark City.
And the Dark Knight, he's 50-50, man. He's
and Maurice will understand this, right? And was it Uwe Boll bad?
No. David Goyer's never Uwe Boll bad. I don't think. Was it?
It was.
Uwe.
Imagine Lawnmower Man, which was at the time kind of. It was kind of cutting edge, but it was also bad.
The tech was good, but it was a bad movie. Yeah.
So imagine a movie that's approximately 3 to 5 times worse than Lawnmower Man, but similar
Goyer
concept.
Dialogue with that sweet Goyer. Goyer reads Bendis and says, "This guy's a genius."
So let's transition. Let's transition into TV in Hollywood.
All right.
What have you guys been watching? Well, more particularly, I know what I've been watching. Is anybody caught up on the X-Men 97 show?
Yeah. The Cyclops series.
Well, it was seen that way.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Mosey, Chris?
I'm not caught up, but I do love what Blurds do with the X-Men animated series.
Yeah.
So I'm caught up on the X-Men animated series Blurred Twitter.
I'm the same way.
Okay. So what have you guys been watching?
Oh, what did I just finish? I actually just sadly finished The Expanse.
Excellent.
And what always happens is I get hooked on a show that needs 1 or 2 more seasons.
Yeah.
So
like Supernatural.
That show does not need any more seasons.
Are you serious?
I'm down for season 15. Let's go.
Oh no, they had turned into full blown cartoons at least twice by the time they joined in.
Well, they had the anime one, and then they had the spin-off.
No,
that
dude,
was dope. Give me more.
Not like Supernatural.
Yeah, give me
more. A show that needs more seasons is Farscape. That's what needs more seasons.
Farscape.
What else do I? Oh
man, Farscape got all its own seasons plus every episode of Pigs in Space. They don't need them all.
Yo, have you guys checked out Sugar yet on Apple TV?
No,
I sadly do not.
I didn't watch it yet.
Listen, I know the 3 of y'all are well versed in piracy, so don't come at me with
for sure. I can get access to it.
I'm totally legit.
What's it about though? Break it down for us.
So on the surface, it's Colin Farrell in Hollywood in LA, and he plays a private investigator. And he but the thing is, you get the sense that there's more under the surface. He can speak several like languages fluently. He loves Hollywood movies. And what
no,
did you say?
He got me once with True Detective season 2. You're not getting me again.
No. First of all, I did not like. I'm with you. I hated True Detective season 2, but I'm not blaming Colin Farrell for that. That was not his fault.
That was the weakest one, I think. That
Colin
was
Farrell. If Colin Farrell,
I'm telling you, like, check it out.
Okay.
If you get to the current episode,
yeah.
Well, Maurice is gonna be like Kal-El is gonna do Kal-El things, and he's like, I remember telling him about Attack on Titan when it first came out.
I haven't finished it. I still can't get.
But the hilarious part was you were like, So when does he get the mech? And I was like, well, no, he doesn't. Like, no. And then it's like, so what does he turn into, like one of the Titans? And I was like, yeah. It's like,
I remember first watching that cartoon and being like, this is the most depressing world.
Oh, it is. It's pretty depressing. Up until Goblin Slayer came out. Then that was depressing.
Right. Berserk and Attack on Titan are so like, this is the most hopeless shit I've ever seen characters go through.
Yeah. Watch Goblin Slayer.
Goblin Slayer is the story of an NPC that's just fulfilling the side quest that the main character opts out. That's Goblin Slayer. But it's the most brutal fulfillment of those quests. Come on, man. You walk to the back of the den where the nursery is at with a club in your hand and tell a little girl, hey, don't look at this little girl.
That's it. Check it out. Get current. Each episode is not really long. I think they're like 30 minutes long. But it's worth checking out.
Yeah, everything on Apple TV Plus has been cool. It's a lot of content, man.
Oh man. Listen,
yeah.
My favorite show on Apple TV is For All Mankind. I just like the alternative history take.
I can agree with that. Yes,
mine was Calls of the Servant. I love Calls though. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see that one.
It's just phone calls. There's like just sine waves on the screen, and you're listening.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
Man, that was nuts.
I think the one Apple TV project that I really put a lot of time into, and it wasn't that many episodes, was the Sam Jackson one. Something Gray.
God,
where he was the guy, Ptolemy Gray, where he kind of got his memory back. He set things right. Yeah, that was a pretty damn good. Like everything I've watched on Apple TV has been solid.
So I feel like TV right now, and it's funny. There was an article. I think it was a New York Times article that came out recently that actually put its finger on my problem with TV right now. Is everything is mid.
What?
It's not that it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. Everything is watchable, but it all has these little earmarks that make it watchable, but not good or not great. Really? And it's not even that it's empty. It's just kind of mid.
I was saying, in addition to that, there's so much of it.
That's why.
What I have is that's my problem. Maurice is all we talk about it all the time, and he'll be like, "Yo, so you watch this, you watch that, man. You catch up on the latest of the Flash and this, that, and the third." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm telling you,
let me ask you through a question.
I ain't watching none of the DC stuff for 2 seconds.
Let me ask you through a question.
Yeah.
What is the last great show you watched?
Dead Boy Detective Agency and Sandman. I loved them.
Let's see.
I also love the last version.
Now, what did they do with Sandman? Sandman was great. What did they do? They killed it. Because you can't trust Netflix. First of all, you can't trust Netflix because Netflix doesn't make shows. Netflix makes content.
Dead Boy Detective Agency already got renewed, so the spinoff is going to outlive the original.
Right.
Wow. And Lucifer
has the last great show I watched.
Invincible.
was I would say the last great show that I watched that I finished was The Expanse.
Not Vox Machina. There's a lot of great shows, y'all.
I mean, I love
anime.
Listen, there are things that you like a lot.
I love From. I'm addicted to that.
I haven't finished season 2. I have watched From. I've been watching Boardwalk Empires. Really solid show.
Amazing.
But see, look how often I guarantee you.
The Last of Us, Twisted Metal, Fallout. Come on.
But see, you have listen. You have
I'm a genre whore.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. It's not that these shows are
right
great.
Now.
You are absolutely enjoying them, and there's nothing wrong with the fact that you enjoy them. That doesn't make them great.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
These are
last
great
time you watched a great show.
I really consider Invincible great. I really consider Vox Machina great. I consider the Dragon Prince great. Like I really hope those shows.
Okay, Invincible is definitely on the side of good.
The Boys, Gen V, like
is this limited to shows, or can we include movies?
Movies tend to, because you still have the big name directors, right? The people that are making quality. People are still trying to win awards. You're still gonna get great movies.
Like what?
But great TV shows. They like, again, enjoyable TV shows.
What?
Good TV shows are not great shows.
Oh my God. Lies, people. He's trying to say it like it's fact too. Don't listen to him.
Like, okay, so I'll say this. I'll say this. A lot of people, and I enjoyed Fallout TV show, right? A lot of people were like oogling over the Fallout show, and I think a lot of that really came down to a point where so many people have been around long enough to remember, and you brought him up, Uwe Boll and his god awful video game adaptations, and now you had Amazon go ahead and actually almost perfectly adapt. Like they almost perfectly adapted everything from their universe. Maybe a few
peak
timeline things. Last of Us almost perfectly adapted. Even the Mario movie, which for all intents and purposes wasn't a good movie, but there were so many little gems in there that if you played those games, you recognized it. It's like now we're adapting. We got past the point where we adapted comic books pretty well. And now we're at the point where we're adapting video games pretty well, because Hollywood is completely depleted of original ideas.
Even when I worked at Sony, like at that point in time, video games were actually making more money than Hollywood movies.
Absolutely. They've been doing that for decades, right?
But now think about this. Fallout was so good, it made the game sales spike up like 4,000%.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Right. Yes, Fallout is great.
I have people who watch the show ask me about the games. They never played the games before.
Yeah, Fallout was... That was Walter Grogg's most subdued role while he's wearing a mutant face.
Now, the other thing that the article pointed out that I also appreciated
wasn't no Uncle Baby Billy.
One of the ways that they get people to watch a show, because remember back when we were kids, TV or a TV show, that was a downward movement. That was a backwards movement for actors and directors and producers.
Right.
Now,
absolutely,
that's the method.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like I bet you they wish that, not that, I bet you they wish that Harry Potter had come out
now.
TV show.
Now. It would
be turned into a TV show for like 10 seasons, dude.
Yeah, well, think about like Yellowstone. Kevin Costner is a huge name, and then turn around.
But that's what I'm saying. Is they get you they get you with big name actors. They get you with ensembles that are going to deliver on certain things, right?
Yeah.
Because you see them and you're like, oh, yeah, I'll watch this.
Oh yeah.
But again, our tastes are such that that's what we're using in lieu of good. We're using the fact that they make things in the genres that we like now. They even if you like just like
What if I like the
blackety
story
black
arc?
shows, they
Yeah.
got shows for you. They got a bunch of shows for you.
Yeah.
Even on the main on like the main streamers, right?
Yeah.
You can find shows. Shoot. I mean, if you like horrible blackety black shows, if you like
Like you said.
minus Tyler Perry stuff,
Tubi.
Tubi.
Hey man,
Tubi.
first of all,
you talking about the biggest pile of
get out of
depression
here.
porn and oppression porn and just
but people are eating that up.
Dogface,
Yeah, they love
A
it.
Trap House Horror Story is one of the best movies that ever come out of Atlanta. I love that movie. Dogface, A Trap House. I'm gonna say it again. Dogface, A Trap House Horror Story.
Please Common Sense has left the building.
Please watch it. It's the ultimate B horror movie. I named you Hondo because you're a warrior. Please.
Jesus Christ. I'm willing to bet that's a real line in that movie.
That is the real movie. You have to watch this. I'm not.
No, I'm not. I got my feel of Tubi at a friend's house. I'm like, I'm never watching this shit ever again.
Sleeping.
I saw 4 movies that literally had the exact same plot. Wife leaves husband at home.
Man, stop.
Husband leaves wife at
home.
Wife
stop it. You can stop hating on that for that, because there's literally a channel that is dedicated to that. It's called Hallmark. Yeah. It is 24 hours of the same movie.
This is just
Hallmark does not have movies where at the end of the movie the wife gets shot by the husband because she was cheating on him.
Every Hallmark movie is the same movie.
Hey,
absolutely.
Hey, black filmmakers, me and Chris, we're with you. We support everything you do. This is Mosi and Will, aka CQG.
Listen,
do something else, though. I don't care.
I will admit that I am happy. I am happy that Tyler Perry and his like exists. But I will also admit that it ain't for me. It's just not for me.
And I'm with you on that. Like, I'm glad that 50 Cent was able to open up his movie studio. Right. I have not watched more than one episode of Power.
I haven't watched a single episode of Power.
I can't deal with this shit, dude.
But I'm happy for his success.
Absolutely.
In an area where black people don't have success. I am down for that. I'll ring the bell for that, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna watch Power.
But you do recommend that people watch movies on Tubi.
No,
if that's what floats your boat, absolutely.
Man. Don't let nobody shame you what you like.
Fox owns that shit.
But that's my point. Is there is so much out there that is so specific for like your taste.
Yeah, there's something out there for everybody.
If you like reality shows,
but that doesn't mean that it's great, and that's my argument.
If you like reality shows about a very specific city's R&B scene,
I think those exist. Yeah.
Real Housewives of whatever.
Which rule is that? There needs to be enough. There needs to be a new rule.
TV. That's great.
Because it was like what was the rule 34? Like,
yeah.
At this point, I mean, I guess it is a form of porn, right?
It's no difference in wrestling. You know what I mean?
And not everybody's remember that not everybody's. It's just the different tastes that people have.
The shit I like, I'm pretty sure people would find it like whack or boring, but it's just like, dude, I don't want to watch, dudes cheating on their chicks and then getting shot.
Listen, I'm sorry, but so the gateway to that was that one episode of Cheaters.
Yeah.
Almost got stabbed.
Yep.
That's the gateway. That shows like Catfished.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like
those are the gateway shows that created what the world we live in today.
And funny, I can watch shows like I can watch different supernatural shows and even horror shows for the most part. But then there are shows where like Maurice loves The Chilling Tales of Sabrina. I cannot watch that show. But it's something. It isn't because the show's scary. It's just
not for you.
It's what it just the ingrained tendency in me just goes to the left. Yeah. It's just like me not being able to watch Lucifer. It's just something in me. I'm just like, I understand what you're getting at. I understand that I know comic book wise, okay, it is this, and that concept is cool, but there's something in me where I'm just like, I don't know. But I'm sure, like, if I sat down and really gave it a chance, I would probably enjoy it. I probably would. But up front on its face, it's just that thing in me where I'm just like,
So I have this idea that I would like to bring to fruition at some point, which is I would like to do something called I Hate This Thing, where you watch an episode or two or a movie that on some level you are going to hate it, but you give it a chance, right? So I've had to sit and watch Below Decks or whatever that reality show is, and I still hate it. I still hate every second of it. But I watched it and I realized that you got to watch stuff that you don't like because sometimes you got to make fun of people. Sometimes you got to make fun about what
that means I have to. So that means I have to play Death Stranding?
Yes, you got to play Death Stranding.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
Go and record it. I've been trying to get him to do it at the same time.
Hate Kojima games.
I've been trying to get to him for about a year.
I hate that man's games.
You know what Maurice, we know what Kal-El probably feels like he misses is the fact that, like, the moment when I was playing Resident Evil 2.
Oh, yes.
If he could have recorded that moment where I'm playing and I just had this moment. I'm like, you know what? Stop. Something feels off. And I turn to him and I'm like, are there spiders in this game? He's like, no. He didn't miss a beat. He was like, no.
Nah, man.
There's no spiders. No. That's just Resident Evil 1. You're all right. I'm like, are you sure? I just had a feeling.
Oh, you don't deal well
and
with
I start
video
to
game spiders?
walk down the stairway into and it came across the screen. I threw the damn controller. I threw.
You're the second person I've met who just does not like dealing with bugs in video games. Yeah.
No, it's spiders. It's only spiders.
Yeah, that's fair.
You guys, from the first time you got the blue screen on, what was the game?
On Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness.
That was awesome.
Right. I remember.
It's about the insanity effects where you would like shut down your volume or your character's head would fall off and all the other
Roach starts crawling across the screen.
The Roach was, but the blue screen one was so believable.
Oh yeah, I was like, what the hell? What's
the system overheated or something?
Yeah.
Right, because of all the things.
Yes,
it's the one that didn't fit.
Yeah,
which made it the most bizarre.
Exactly, wasn't part of the actual universe.
That is historically. I'm going to transition into our next topic. That is historically one of the most unique and I would say, sadly, never iterated. Wow, what's the word? Iterated. Thank you. Tongue twister. Games in history, like was 3 generations ago, and they never brought it back out.
That's because there's some mechanics you just can't reproduce. Because once that happens, it's done.
So
they made a spiritual sequel, but it's just they never finished making it.
Yeah. So I'm saying all that to say to lean into this topic I actually have in gaming. I was it today, Kal-El, or was it yesterday? I think it was today that they announced that they were shutting down. No, it was yesterday. Was it yesterday they announced they were shutting down Tango and like 3 other studios at Bethesda.
They got their Fallout games.
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much, and Skyrim games, right, or Elder Scrolls games. But they are shutting down Tango Gameworks, who created Hi-Fi Rush, and you have a lot of YouTube and Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it, commentators talking about how bad Microsoft is for getting rid of this game, and the usual set of grifters who are saying that this is the doom and gloom of Microsoft. And it's like, first of all, Microsoft was, as a corporation, they've never been good anyway, right? Like the idea that they somehow were good when they were making obscure Japanese rhythm action games is fucking ridiculous. This is what I think happened, and people who listen to the podcast, this is what I believe happened. Hi-Fi Rush is one of 4 games, right, that was ported to PlayStation and Switch. I don't think Hi-Fi Rush came out on Switch or Sea of Thieves, but like the Pentiment and the Grounded did. 2 of those games sold well. Sea of Thieves and Grounded. Pentiment more than likely didn't. And I'm pretty sure Hi-Fi Rush didn't do that great on PlayStation. Even though if you look at Hi-Fi Rush, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, it is a very PlayStation style game, like old school. Everybody's up in arms about Tango getting shut down and Tango closing. And the only thing I want to ask anybody who's so upset about this is, what hit game did Tango make? Not what game did you like they make, because a lot of people like the Evil Within games. A lot of people like Prey. So
you're just talking about it from a business perspective.
From a business perspective, now, mind you, I don't like the fact that they got shut down because I have friends in the industry.
I'm just saying, this is a question that's from a business perspective.
That's a business perspective.
But that's why that's the wrong business perspective, man. Look, we have the ability to generate entire albums with prompts. That tech is it's already here for games. Right. Like that State of Unreal was very clear on what was happening. NVIDIA's been very clear on what's happening. You don't need to make your own frames, we'll generate them for you.
Right.
The AI tech is here. So what does that mean? You don't need teams at all. You need a core group of engineers. You need to hire artists to come in and put little trees everywhere, right? And somebody to maybe do some architectural help with the map design. But generally, all games are going to have to go to the movie format where they bring in enough people to finish a project and get rid of them. Everybody's going to be contracted. But on the flip side,
that is what the industry was before anyway. It was.
Yeah. At the beginning, yeah, especially on the British PC side. The British PC developers always had this mentality, right? But because the tools are so good, just like with music, just like with movies, YouTube is a whole portal for visual entertainment. So it is a direct competitor to all the streaming platforms.
I mean, it's I agree with you that it's essentially going back, because if you think about early video games, they were really indie projects that got purchased by different companies, and then they were able to mass produce them and put them out.
Right.
And I mean, right now, my son plays Roblox and plays
Fortnite.
Yeah. And they're making their own games.
You guys still play Apex too?
Well, hold on, listen. They're making their own games.
Okay.
But they are making their own games within DIY. The framework of this other game. I mean, I think it's part what you're talking about with the AI, with the tech changing, but it's also the Minecraft effect. The fact that
those games are way bigger.
But they allow them to, but they have a true sandbox, meaning that you can actually build something that's functional within the framework of the game. So it's a game within a game. And most of the time when I go in there, he's not playing the games that the studio is producing.
Right.
It's some other kid has made a game. So
DIY, and it's their version of punk music, right? In early hip hop. DIY, cool indie games. Daniel Mullen kind of guys are going to be heroes. But it's every media aspect. The AI movies are going to be like this. We've already seen it with the web comics, right?
The music is getting there. That guy,
the
guy that Metro Boomin sampled, that he makes nothing but AI music based off of jokes and memes, and it turned into like it turned into the whole BBL.
So hold on. We knew music was done the moment we heard "Heart on My Sleeve." The moment you heard "Heart on My Sleeve" and you heard Drake and Weeknd give you better content than Drake and Weeknd had given you together in the last 10 years.
Like my thing with it is there's the problem with the Twitters and the YouTubes is you have this very vocal minority of people who seem to think that the mass of gamers or people in anything give a shit about these small minute details in this council war that they have in their head, and they get obsessed about it. And it's just like, dude, Microsoft has already told you that they're trying to set up something like a Roblox or a Fortnite. They don't want to keep having to pay people to make that shit.
I mean, I can say that I really don't care about the big games. I never really have.
No one does anymore. You're right.
If you know my gaming history, like I've always liked indie games. I've always liked when Congregate was still around doing Flash games. Yeah. I would go on there, and that's the type of thing where I'm always looking for a more creative mechanic, a different way of playing. And that's why Steam had so much success. It wasn't about with Steam, it wasn't about, they weren't even trying to, right. Because and you gotta remember Steam came from Valve, right?
Absolutely.
Which was like, so they knew what a big game looked like. They knew what a big seller looked like, but they went in a different direction. And they created this platform for essentially indie gamers to put out stuff. And most of the stuff that I hear about from Steam, it's not the big games. I hear about all these little games. Even when the Xbox, when the 360 first came out, they were big on Xbox ID, the independent developers. Like we're acting like that this isn't a thing. The smaller game market is always going to exist. They're not if they don't make money, I don't expect the major. It's like any other business. They're not going to front the money for it, but it's not going to die.
Right.
Like you said, it's like punk rock. It's like hip hop. It's always going to exist. It's just going to move somewhere else.
They don't have to. They have direct to consumer.
Right.
Right. And then they have Kickstarter. They don't have to go nowhere.
It's SoundCloud.
Yeah.
It's all of this stuff.
But it's all the same. Direct to DIY.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
all exactly. It's we've seen the model.
Yep.
Several times over at this point.
Yep.
So, I mean, are we still going to get these AAA titles? Are we still going to get big games?
Yep.
People are playing the hell out of Helldivers too.
They were.
And that's not even considered a big title. It's considered a double A.
Helldivers 2 had to learn. Sony had to learn what
Sony
the Steam effect.
And it's like, why would you even try that with PC gamers, dude? What the hell were you thinking?
They just want to secure their crossplay. That's literally all they want to do.
Yeah, but Steam they tried with the wrong group.
You got to remember, this is the group of guys who got the people who created what was the game, the vampire game that I actually really liked and beat all the way through. The one we were playing with Will.
Legacy of Kain?
No, the new one we were playing.
Masquerade?
I played the awesome girl with the umbrella in the Doctor Who.
Red Falls?
Redfall, yeah.
Redfall.
Yeah, Redfall.
Yeah, so they destroyed Redfall.
Yep.
But
which didn't help that studio. They got closed yesterday.
But Hentai Master 6 comes out and it's 20 stars. Right? You can't compete with that kind of, you can't compete with those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they'll give thumbs down to Stellar Blade because they'll be saying it's too tame.
And honestly, the audience for a lot of this stuff kind of deserves what it builds for itself, right? When you got those tastemakers, those guys who sit there and they denigrate the AAA stuff, but then when a porn game comes out on fucking Steam, it's got like overwhelmingly positive reviews, and it's like top 20 on the Steam charts. Is like, okay, so this is what we're doing.
I'm not so sure about Steam's age check, man. They gonna hit a lawsuit sooner or later.
No, I mean,
and they privately own.
It
they
can't
privately
be that
own
good.
too. They got man. Somebody about to eat them up.
So, like I said, all of that doom and gloom about Microsoft closing down studios, like they spent $70 billion. Unfortunately, it sucks. It's shitty, but there's going to be casualties to that. And if you aren't producing millions of dollars, you're probably going to get fired, and that shit sucks. But
the thing is that you're bringing up, though, because again, we're talking about business, we're talking about capitalism,
and
absolutely.
It's funny because again, listening to a story about professionals and how the more experienced you are as a professional, the higher an earner you become, the more likely you are to be replaced by people coming into this job market because they're cheaper.
Right.
And so it's one of those things where
damn if you do, damn if you don't.
But if you work in an industry like that, this is one of those opportunities where you can see, hey, this is a market that's ripe for independent developers, independent creators.
Oh yeah.
And you can even if it's just for a single project, you can put a team together and produce something if you have an idea.
And then everybody can move on and go to their own next projects. Exactly.
Right, exactly.
You're seeing that on Indie Gala, right? And so this is the rise of the independent. The indie games are coming out faster, cleaner, and honestly, like I said, I brought Mullins, but for me, Inscription was the best game last year.
They're better games.
Oh, Inscription is so great. I love Inscription.
The games that are coming out on indie are fucking killing it right now.
Hades 2, man.
Exactly.
Hades 2 looks amazing.
But do you see, like, the theme is that they're taking a game, they're taking something, and they're putting actual creativity in it. And that's the part that I think that the big companies miss. They think they're being creative, but really they're just putting out the same stuff that they've been putting out. And then it always takes a game like an Inscription or a Hades, and then they go, "Oh, people like this thing. People think that this is cool. Let's make our own version of this." If they don't just outright buy the original, the original project.
And see, what's weird is they get something like Hi-Fi Rush and it doesn't sell, and they just they run away from it. Because Hi-Fi Rush for the most part is pretty unique. Well, half of it isn't. They turned it into a music rhythm game. The music rhythm part
it's a combination of Jet Set Radio with your rhythm game for the action, right?
Right.
So, I mean, the concept, the mashup concept there is fairly unique. However, the
parts
the visual
have been seen before, yeah.
Yeah, the visuals, it doesn't come off as creative because that's what happens when you steal stuff. people who know, and then there's a level of if there's a missing level of authenticity there of it being unique and creative. And so if you get a game like, I don't know, Splatoon is not a unique concept in terms of like a PvP type game. It's not a unique concept, but the character art is unique. The way that you actually play the game is unique. And so it had a level of success for them. Nintendo takes more risks than just about any other company in terms
of,
especially in terms of like character art and character creation.
What? How y'all just gonna sit here and tell lies against Devolver? I'm out of here. Slander.
Those guys don't give a shit, dude. They're really having fun with the entire idea of just being a part of the game industry.
Is that are they the ones that made
Hotline Miami?
Hotline Miami.
Yeah, they
is
just
great.
published.
Yeah.
You ever watch their like Devolver Digital, like when they do their
E3 show?
Yeah.
Pretty
You
good.
ever watch that?
It's complete satire.
No, I haven't seen that, but that seems like it would be great.
It's like an Adult Swim satire thing.
But see, here's also perfect example of a game that, speaking of things that were going back to like the 2B style stuff, where it's or things that just kind of steal and just pull from all these places, wrestling even. That Pal World game, man.
AI tool set.
It had a moment, and it was just pure theft. It was just 100%.
Ark survival with Pokemon. Yeah.
We're gonna take these mechanics. We're gonna make it look like Breath of the Wild. We're gonna take the creatures from Pokemon. We're gonna do Monster Hunter. We're gonna they just did everything all at the same time. Which is hilarious.
Yeah, the next big game is going to be like, games are just like music now. Like Future might be the next big game, and you just won't know. Like it's
Jesus Christ. I hope not. Yeah. I mean, but all the doom and gloom surrounding the whole, Microsoft's firing people again, and Microsoft's taking 10 steps back. Like in June, when they showed Gear 6, and they shadow dropped the Gears Marcus Phoenix collection or something like that. Everybody will be forgotten about this. All of those people are going to find jobs because they're fucking brilliant.
Or they won't.
But that's also
they will.
The tech.
They will.
Listen, the tech job market has been, for the last 2 years, has been looking like this. This is not.
That's
not
They
specific.
may
to
not
gaming.
find jobs. Like this thing is a market disruptor, and we can't just sit here and be like, oh, it's not a market disruptor. No, it's 100% one. It will change every single tech job that you can think of. When Musk is going around doing conversations about a living wage, when Rashida Tlaib is trying to get artists a living wage, those are signs. Like we are heading to.
We don't need you anymore.
Coding is going to be, things that are based off of code will have more of a caretaker approach to it.
Well, I mean, coding is basically going to be the equivalent of, the era of time when people moved north to work in these factories to have factory jobs. Coding jobs are just going to be factory jobs.
But they won't even be run by us. Like I'm telling you, like the GUI. So when you're right. It'll be like NCQ, where you're using the GUI version of C, right? Like people are going to make their own games to play and share with their friends. And the market will take the best games and just publish them. Like these guys are going back to being just published.
Well, they don't have to. It's a very true statement because you know exactly what I'm working on. So
and you guys know about Tubi. That's exactly Tubi's mindset. Yeah, like it's YouTube's mindset. It's everybody's mindset. If somebody else can create the content and you can just make money. But
the thing is, you also have to remember though, everything is cyclical. So really, what I think will happen is at some point, because we're going more punk rock, because we're and you and I have talked about this in terms of like the music industry before, where you have to find a way to not just stand out, but to stand out apart now from the technology that's being used, right? So that means when back in the day when MP3s first came out and we realized, oh shit, this is the end of the record industry. You knew, I knew immediately, especially because of where I worked, what the method is. You want people to know who you are. You want people to pay for your product. You got to start performing live. You got to go places. And so what's going to happen is there's going to be an analog aspect to things. It's how I feel about cars right now. They unnecessary touchscreens throughout all kinds. Not only that, but because everything is running on a computer, it takes away the ability to modify, to fix these cars, right?
Without going to
So
a dealership, yeah, you have to pay
right.
more.
And so what's going to happen is people are going to go, I don't want to do this.
Yep.
I don't want to do this. And they're going to make a choice to either go, this product is okay with me, I'm going to use this product. Or they're going to go, I need something that has, uh, that is more analog, that is more authentic, that is more human, and can prove it. Not something that you're gonna download. You're gonna have to go somewhere and get it.
That's the
And
whole
so,
argument between electric and gas, right? Electric cars are simpler. You're talking about motors to battery. Um, they're designed in every aspect to feel more like technology than even a car.
right,
And once Ford and all those guys stop making most of their cars, after they can get through this issue they're having with the interest rates where nobody can actually afford to buy a new car, once they can get through that, what you'll see is the gas cars become boutique. They'll be like rep vinyl.
right.
Yep.
Because
It's like
everyone's super cheap
physical
to-
media is now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yes.
yep.
But that's the thing. Physical media is having a comeback because people are realizing, hey, I want to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it, not based on if a streaming service has
Yeah.
it or not.
Not just that,
Also,
but libraries are being deleted
Mhm.
because they're closing down services.
Right.
not just that, but our video games has taught us this, right?
right.
Deluxe editions that give you something to touch, people like, even if it's a little cold in the box. They hate the little cold in the box. They'd rather have a
Statues.
disc.
Yep.
But
Right.
so vinyl is something like that. Vinyl has art, inserts. It has its
Mhm.
own unique soundscape. CDs are the same way. They have art. They have
Even
inserts.
VHS.
VHS, yeah. Anything you touch.
I mean,
Blu-ray. Anything you
there's
touch.
a reason that people like that stuff, and it's gonna happen with it happens with
Everything.
everything at some point. So I'm not real worried about AI because there are going to be people who willfully make a choice. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
I recognize I probably am not going to want the offerings because I want something else.
Yeah.
But I can recognize that the AI is going to be the dominant force for our current future.
Yeah. I mean, what it allows everyone to do in music is to emulate Quincy Jones already. You know what I mean? So at this point already, if we can emulate Motown songs, like just like think of any song you can think of, like a worst rap song, and then type in Motown, and someone's already made it, or you can make it. So, and so the level of creativity and the guys and girls who actually have the skill set, they'll always rise above. But now it's every man for himself. It's like the early days of YouTube again. When you just
so I want to touch on something that Mosi said, right? So think about like if you like making movies, making games, getting into this and then using the technology at hand, right? The thing is, tech has evolved to a point where it does make it easier for the everyday man to go and do this. Though now this everyday man can be a creator of the things that he wants to do. It's the reason why I started doing movies, right? And I was writing movies and shooting movies back when, I was using digital tape at first. That was my first foray into it. And then I was finally able to afford, my first 1080p digital camera that, and using the little SanDisk cards and stuff like that. And then I got a 4K camera after that. Now I'm actually saving money to get my next big camera. Now the transition to this new camera that I'm get is, while still available in, say, the prosumer market, is far more tech intensive. It's driven by different technology, like for the storage media and stuff like that. So that stuff makes it more expensive, but the product will be superior than anything I ever put out before. And that's the trade-off, right? You get better options at a higher price tag. And like Mosi said, it's the choice
between what you want and what you don't want.
Right.
But look at speak on the workstation options. I'm sorry, Moses. I just want, because you actually understand for music it's digital audio workstation, so I guess it's digital video workstation.
Yeah,
so like, have you used any of these like digital video tools yet for that are AI based?
Not well. Yeah, remember we were using Midjourney.
Okay, so I'm talking for video, but yeah, we were using Midjourney. So
I mean, I still use Midjourney.
Yeah.
I still rock Midjourney.
You saw that workflow adjustment, right?
Oh yeah. Like so Midjourney is great, right? For like just because the okay, I have a superhero universe, right? I have several universes, but that I write in, but superhero universe. If I want to make my superhero comic, I don't have to go any further than Midjourney.
See,
I can put in the prompt, just say imagine, put in what I imagine, that comes out. I take that, I favorite it, and then I take that same exact picture and tell Midjourney, reference this picture, but change this, and this. And it pulls it out. And then I can start developing panels based off of that, right? And then before you know it, I have a 30-page comic that I've already done. Then I can take it in my editor, put the bubbles in and all this other stuff. And you know, I've printed my first issue run of Altitude in less than a day.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
I don't have a problem, and I don't have a problem with that, and that's great to have access to tools like that. But to me, like, I would want to, instead of doing that, I guess partially because I feel like creating, especially knowing that I'm not a comic artist or really an artist in terms of like that style, drawing, painting, that style of visual medium.
Mm-hmm.
I would, because I'm me, would relish the opportunity to create connections, to create a network, to find the artist to actually make my vision instead of just entrusting it to an AI. But that's just me. I don't think there's anything wrong with having tools that allow you to have an easier path to self-creation, because you're still on some level, you are producing that, right? You have the story.
Well, here's the thing now, man. It's just better business. Like, why pay an artist, an inker, a colorer when you don't got to pay an artist, inker, and a color?
It was like I said before, people are going to make a choice. The same way that I don't go to Walmart for most of the things that I shop.
Yeah, I get you.
The same way that, you know, maybe if you want a burger, you got a choice. You can go to Burger King, or you can go, like, we're from Detroit.
Yeah.
Where would you rather have a burger
Coney.
from? McDonald's or Tailway?
Coney. Or what? Coney.
I'm just saying, if you had to choose between McDonald's and Tailway, where would you get the burger from?
I don't know. That's rough. Because, I mean, the sliders are good, right? But, like,
if you had a choice between McDonald's and Tailway for a cheeseburger, where would you go?
The fact that Tailway and McDonald's is literally like right next to each other in this scenario is actually hilarious too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's where I drop my daughter off at school. We pass that Tailway all the time.
If I don't want it steamed, then I would go to McDonald's. So I want it steamed, I go to Tailway.
You are a liar. You would not, man. If you had enough money,
if I had
enough time to go to Tailway and wait.
If you had enough money to go to Tailway,
but that's what I'm saying. If you
so disrespectful, I can't buy a slider.
I'm not saying you are broke. I am
broke. I'm just saying
we all broke. It's America right now. We all broke. I'm saying, if you have enough money in your pocket to produce, to buy a burger from Tailway, you would get the Tailway burger over the McDonald's burger like 99 times out of 100, because it's just better. Even if you have to wait 10 minutes to get your burger, it's better.
But what if I want the cardboard? You know what I mean? Like, Sometimes you do.
I mean, he's not wrong, right? He makes a choice, and he would make a choice to go get the cardboard.
Sometimes you want Armando.
But that choice isn't. The choice isn't to go and get the cardboard. The choice is the fact that I'm gonna pull into the drive-thru. They're gonna hand me my food, and I'm gonna leave.
Yeah,
that's the choice you're making, and I'm choosing to go. Hey, I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna wait 10 minutes. I'm gonna get this sack of burgers, which is fucking delicious. I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm not gonna be like, this is okay. I saved 5 minutes. No,
man, whatever. It's more baddies at McDonald's. I don't know.
You rather know that the burger's cooked than that it came out of a microwave. Right?
I ain't never seen no baddies at Tailway.
I don't go to Tailway for baddies.
I only see
go to Tailway for burgers.
I only see Briscoe fans at Tailway, man.
I'm just saying, there's going to be a willful decision. You're going to have to choose, and there's nothing wrong with either choice. It's just going to be about what you need and what you want and what you're okay with.
Yeah, like he won nuggets. It's game over.
You're right. I'm not going to Tailway for nuggets.
Yeah. they chicken fingers tight though. They chicken fingers tight. But I mean, we got Coney.
Just give me a slider. Right. Exactly. Detroit. You just go to the Coney. Get you some fries. Salad. Get you that Coney fry special.
Yo, €2 for $10. Come on, man.
Man,
is that how much they got?
Yes, they got 2 for $10. Everything,
2 for
man.
10, yep.
How
much is the caramel cake? Because that's what I'm about.
I don't know, man.
Give me a nice slice of caramel cake.
Did any of the Conies near you guys stop selling milkshakes and stuff?
Ours still do. Leo still do.
Yeah, Kirby still does.
So the Conies I go to, they stopped making them.
Yeah, they did for a while.
I hate that y'all got Conies.
None of the Aztecas up here serve ceviche anymore because after COVID.
There are like I could get a Cincinnati Coney, which is not a Coney. Yeah, don't let them mofos tell you that's a Coney. That's not a Coney.
That's just not chili. Your mother-in-law made was banging though with the cream cheese on there. Man, that was so good. I was like, what is this?
Oh! I got something for you. I got something. You're gonna love this, cause Mo is out here talking about me being a hater, a lucha libre, and stuff like that. Check this out. I got this for you. This is the wedding.
Hold on, let me see.
These are the masks.
Nice.
Show it again. I'm sorry. Show it again. I was on the other screen. I'm so sorry. Show. What is it?
What was it? It was this.
Oh yeah. The Lucha Libre mask. Ultimo.
It looks like we're getting to about our 2-hour limit. Because I'm not paying for Premium Riverside yet.
All right, wait, Will. Before we wrap it up, I want to throw this out there and maybe think about it for the next session. All right,
sure. Go ahead.
And something I saw today, really funny. There was a dude did a parody. It was called Wabbit Season. Everybody know what Wabbit Season is? Where it was
Wabbit.
No. But he did it. It was Elmer Fudd was going hunting, right? Bugs Bunny shows up. And he was about to rape Elmer Fudd, and his dad had to talk him out of it.
What?
Okay, so first of all,
hold up. So when you find it, Wabbit Season is no longer available on YouTube because Warner Brothers said that it isn't just cease and desist. They said they own that as part of their intellectual property. So they said that.
Because it was done with AI?
No. This is hand drawn by this dude on YouTube, and you can still find Wabbit seasons when you get a chance. Just go watch Wabbit season. But here's the best part. He did another video of basically all these other characters mourning the death of Bugs Bunny in Wabbit season, and Ed and Eddie said, you know what the best part about his death is that Warner Brothers has now made it canon that Bugs Bunny is a disturbed rapist in their Yes, by their actions. So the corporate agreed without, and he said, do companies even think about the stuff they do based on their greed? And I think that is a great, I think that is awesome.
It's not awesome, it's cap, because all you gotta do is say it's not canon. Wow.
Whatever.
No. That's what canon means. That is not canon. They're having a multiverse.
It exists in the multiverse. They just don't own it. There's a legitimate multiverse.
The rapists still exist in their multiverse. They still own that.
Here's the thing.
Get them out of here. They still own it.
All you suckers making these Winnie the Pooh horror movies and Mickey Mouse horror movies, man, stop.
No, keep making them. Keep making them.
Winnie the Pooh just got a sequel, didn't it?
Keep taking that stuff left.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a new Winnie the Pooh one, right? They just made a sequel to that.
They had the first one, and then now the Pooh 2.
See, you are artists, and you gonna sit. So I'm about to. You know what? I'm hitting Mid-Journey tonight.
So how do you feel? How do you feel about movies that exist in the H.P. Lovecraft universe?
Most of them are terrifying and racist, but mainly terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like Prince of Darkness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mouth of
Madness, Dagon.
Yeah.
So you don't have a problem with them like Fight Club. So you don't have a problem with the literary stuff, just the animated stuff.
I never.
I mean, technically, Winnie the Pooh is literary.
No. So here's the thing. You can do it with whatever you want, but doing it with Winnie the Pooh is just whack. That's just lame, dog. Like, if you want to tell me a story about a bear that's working people out in the woods, you can do it.
I got a phrase for you. I already used it earlier in the show. You just say it's not for you. That's all you gotta say.
Oh no. But what did I say at the beginning of the show? What did I say? I said his hair's whack. His voice whack. I never see him transition, and he definitely can't do no kickflip. Me, I'm tight as fuck.
Oh my God. And with that, we can close it out. Anybody got any closing thoughts?
Will, I just want to thank you very much for allowing me to join you all on this journey and
absolutely
being on your podcast. Thank you for having me.
We will look at that episode. I am going to look up that Wabbit season. That looks interesting. That sounds interesting.
I don't need to see Bugs Bunny rape nobody. I'm good.
I don't think he actually does it.
He does.
Oh, okay.
He does. He does not. His daddy talks about it.
I don't need to watch Bugs Bunny try to rape somebody. Correction. I'm sorry, guys. Jeez. It's just, animal rape is not my anime format, but I'm not shaming y'all. Like Mosey said, it's just not for me. If that's y'all thing,
Oh, now you want to use it. Now you want to use it for
now this guy,
man, get it in. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole furry life out there. If that's what y'all into.
Well, I'd like to say thank you for having me. It's good to talk with the boys again.
Thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate you.
You can have me back on anytime.
For sure.
I'll be on camera next time since we can dox. All right.
And hopefully I'll have some footage going on in the background, and I might as well change my name since it's been said several times.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. I just gotta buy a gun. Okay.
You hear that, people?
I got a couple.
You hear that, people? He ain't armed yet. You can move on him now.
Or am I?
Or
yeah, exactly.
Did you ever?
I don't mind being incriminated though. No, I'm not gonna do that.
I'm just saying, is it canon of the multiverse? We don't know.
We'll just play.
But a multiverse doesn't make it not canon.
Yeah,
It just makes it a multiverse.
So here's one thing I want you guys to remember about this hip hop beef. The only MC in this whole beef that is canon in the Marvel universe is Megan Thee Stallion. Let's go.
And we're done. See y'all at 7. Jesus Christ.